Hey everybody, in this video I'm discussing the new moon in Sagittarius happening on December the 1st for most of the world. I'm on the west coast of the United States, so it's actually happening at 10:22 p.m. November the 30th. Now, this new moon, there's a new moon every 4 weeks, and wherever the new moon falls in your chart or how it impacts your sun sign, it's where your attention and priorities are being most directed. And a Sagittarius is outgoing and adventurous and playful, but this Sagittarius new moon is forming a square or a 90-degree angle to contracted, restricted Saturn. So Saturn will delay, will frustrate all that Sagittarius enthusiasm and outgoingness. Sagittarius is very philosophical. It looks to the future. And so one of the things you could keep in mind is with the Sag new moon being restricted by Saturn is to aim high. That's the Sagittarius, but proceed with caution. That's the Saturn. Now, Mercury, decision-making, communication Mercury, is also retrograde from November the 25th through December the 15th. And once every 2 years, Mars, ambitious, courageous, assertive Mars, is going retrograde December the 6th, but will remain retrograde until February the 23rd. So with Mercury and Mars in retrograde, there could be a lot of jumping to conclusions, a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of nervousness, anxiousness, irritability, and then with a new moon that just wants to expand and to grow and to travel and to make big plans for the coming year, the Saturn is compelling a lot of to slow it down, to proceed with caution, to recalibrate. It's a good time with these two retrogrades and that Saturn is to pull within and for it to be more introspective. Sagittarius, travel, education, marketing, publishing. These are all under the domains of Sagittarius. But with the Mercury in retrograde, then Mars, and then the new moon being restricted, frustrated by contracting Saturn, there's definitely going to be some hiccups, if you will, with traveling, education, publishing, but certainly be very adaptable with the possibilities of major travel delays because more people, it seems like it's one of the busiest travel periods of the year. And in the northern latitudes, it is when there's always some kind of snow event, shutting down, delaying flights. So you need, with that Saturn, you need patience. But this can be a very favorable time to pull back and re-examine, recalibrate, rethink, revise all your goals and expectations. Now, I do have some good news because it is the holiday season for many people. Venus, that planet of love and socializing and entertainment, is going to be very favorable with powerful Neptune and Uranus. Before I describe this more positive side of entertaining, and it is the holiday season, but first, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. All right. Venus is in Capricorn. So it's a love, Venus, an appreciation, a valuing Venus of all things Capricorn, tradition, and being more conservative with that Venus in Capricorn, being more serious, more sensible, more grounded when it comes to relationships, maybe even creative projects, because Venus rules the arts. Now, the Venus is in a trine, that's the best flow of energy, to progressive, innovative Uranus. As Venus is at 23 Capricorn, Uranus is at 24 Taurus. Those are both earth signs in harmony with each other. Venus to Uranus could be awakening some new creative expression, thinking out of the box, more originality, trying something new. Or if you are more of the audience, you might be more interested in checking out, some kind of original, kind of avant-garde creative entertainments or shows. Uranus also represents friendships, group activities, because Uranus is the planet associated with Aquarius. And Aquarius or Uranus is all these friendly, socializing group energies. And here's social Venus in harmony with Uranus. So this could be a lot of unexpected or exciting. That's the Uranus parties, celebrations. But Venus is relationships and love. Uranus, more unconventional or very sudden, unexpected attractions. But Uranus can also represent friendships. So whether it is more intimate or more platonic with friendships, that Venus-Uranus is really expanding your social circle. So for most people, this is a very favorable month, even with all the hiccups and the delays, and with the Saturn to the new moon, you might be worried about everything that's going on in the world, with the Saturn being concerned about finance, your job, practical matters of the Saturn. But all the worries and concerns are not going to be the dominant theme that keeps most people depressed, because that pleasurable entertainment, playful, romantic Venus is in harmony with eclectic, original, dynamic Uranus. And the Venus is in a sextile that is half of the trine. Sextile is positive opportunity. So the Venus is trining the Uranus, but it's also sextiling Neptune. Neptune is this compassion, this empathy with Venus, this love and with the Neptune, could bring a lot of more inclined to helping those less fortunate, volunteering, charity. It is the perfect month for all of that. Creatively, with the Uranus, something original, thinking out of the box, or you're more open to that type of expression. And with the Neptune, the Venus to the Neptune, it can really stimulate the imagination. That Venus-Neptune can be, Neptune can mean music, and with Venus, all that entertainment. So there's a lot of pleasurable, entertaining events, concerts, plays, once every year, the Nutcracker ballet. But this can also be a very social, romantic time, and expanding your social circles, your friendships. Now, with the Mercury in retrograde, keeping all the positive side of Venus, you could be running into or reconnecting with friendships or lovers from your past. I often see that with Mercury in retrograde, especially with all this social Venus energies. And now with all these social platforms, it's easier than ever from somebody from college, from high school, from the old town, for there to be a reconnection. That's the positive of the Mercury in retrograde, with that loving, positive Venus energy with Uranus, like the unexpected, the exciting. Now, that's the positive side of Mercury and retrograde. Now, there could be some misunderstandings, and that could create some anger, some stress, some irritability because of the Mars going retrograde. But the Venus, being so positively aspected by these two outer planets, then I think there's more of a chance to resolve and to forgive and to reset friendships, close, intimate, personal relationships. With Mars in retrograde, Mars is very goal-oriented, ambitious, and driven. But when it goes retrograde, it seems like it's going to take so much more effort to get the same job done. And then with the Mercury in retrograde, you're kind of prone to misunderstanding or miscommunications. And then the Mars goes retrograde, and you're feeling really like resentful and irritable and angry. What you want to do, the worst is going to be the first 2 weeks of December, because on December the 15th, now Mercury is going to start going direct. So more prone to a lot of irritability, arguing, misunderstandings. But my advice is to think before engaging your mouth. Slow it down. But more introspection, more meditation, because the retrograde means you maybe have to go back over again and again, or maybe it's a very favorable time to revise and rethink and recalibrate. So it could be a very positive resetting of a lot of your personal dynamics and relationships. You might be worried about security and business and finance because of the qualities of Saturn restricting that new moon in Sag. But Sag is optimistic. It doesn't give up. And Venus, as much as Venus is creative energy, inspiring, socializing energy, Venus is also associated with finances. On one hand, it's because Venus likes the finer things in life that cost a lot of money. But Venus is the ruler of Libra, the sign of relationships, partnerships, and marriage. But Venus is also the ruler of Taurus. And Taurus is the sign of materialism and money and financial security. And your Venus, or the Venus for this new moon, is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is very security-oriented, very business-minded. So that Venus is going to be very favorable overall with financial matters. And it's in harmony with Neptune and Uranus. The Uranus, you might be, could be really worried about your finances, your job. But then the Venus to the Uranus, you might start to have some new insights, some thinking out of the box, or being more open to new ways of generating income. And with the Neptune, you might be feeling very inspired by these new insights. So it is a lot of, got to be really adaptable. You got to stay calm and centered. But overall, I don't think, even though we have these two retrogrades and the Saturn, I do think because of the Sagittarius influence for the month, Sagittarius is outgoing and optimistic, and then you're having that pleasurable Venus in harmony and with Neptune and Uranus. I think it's going to be a good month for many people for celebrating the holidays, for reconnecting to old friends, resolving any intimate personal relationship issues. But with the Saturn, just proceed cautiously, be patient, just refocus, rethink everything, and I think this month will turn out a lot better than what initially many people might be worrying. Because one of the things about Mercury in retrograde to keep in mind is people have a tendency to build mountains out of molehills. In other words, just assuming the worst, getting really anxious, and then it turns out to not be as bad as you were freaking out about. So the Sagittarius is going to keep you moving forwards with optimism. The Venus is going to bring in, it's going to be good for socializing, good for finances. So it's going to be an up and down and stressful and exciting month. It's certainly not going to be boring. But I think overall, it's going to, the last half of the month with Mercury now direct, and though that delays of Saturn, so it could take time to get everything into the rhythm for you. So it's going to end up much, much better, the end of the month, than what you may be worried about at the beginning of the month. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next time, be safe and well.